Welcome aboard, Wearsiders. We hope you enjoy your trip through some of the sights and sounds of Sunderland.
Well, there's a sorry sight for a start.
Is it a dead crane, Dad?
Afraid so, Sam. I remember when cranes were still very much alive, when my granddad worked on the river back in the 1940s. This is Austin Shipyard, just one of many on the weir in 1948.
Wow, what a racket!
Oh, and what a lot of dust and dirt.
And get this weird gear. What's going on here?
Well, this is a rather special guided tour, Sue. This is a trip through time, so hang on to your hats as we go back to the start of the Sunderland story. Whoop, this place is okay for plants, but not humans. We better fast forward. Aye, here we are. The first known Wearsider, or all that's left of him.
Look at the willock shells. He must have been fond of fish.
Yes, he was buried on Hastings Hill, but he fished and farmed by the River Wear.
Aye, I wouldn't mind living in that canny little thatched house. Oh, those cold stones look a bit drafty to me.
Oh, don't worry, this building is strictly men only. It's St. Peter's Church and Monastery where the great scholar Bede lived. He wrote the very first history of England, you know.
That must have taken him years.
Well, he lived in the monastery from the age of 7.
Wow, that's the same age as me.
Yes, people started work very young in those times, Sam. After all, there was a lot to be done. Oh, you're telling me.
And they even had taxes then too.
Well, the Bishop of Durham was paid tithes by the villagers of Bishop Wearmouth, and the monks were paid their tithes by the villagers of
Monk Wearmouth. But what's that black spot?
coal. You remember those plants 310 million years ago? Well, now they've turned to coal, and it's going to make Sunderland rich. Aye, where there's muck, there's money. Tons of coal mined around Fatfield and Offerton were loaded onto keels and shipped downriver. The coal fired furnaces under great iron pans full of seawater. The water boiled away, leaving
Salt, to be shovelled out of the pan.
I want everyone's food to keep it fresh.
Why didn't they just use the fridge?
Would have been a bit tricky plugging it in, Sam.
The salt pans were soon joined by lime kilns, glassworks, and rope walks, all of them using coal and all of them shipping goods from the weir.
Laura people must have worked on the river. Where did they live?
Well, many of them lived in Monk Wearmouth and Bishop Wearmouth, around the parish church of St. Michael. But more and more lived in Sunderland, which, in 1719, finally got its own church of Holy Trinity to serve the fast-growing community.
The river looks really busy.
That's true, Sue. In 1717, the River Wear Commissioners were formed to look after it. They dredged it and built piers and lighthouses. And when John Raine drew this eye plan, he showed us exactly how busy Wearsiders lived 200 years ago.
The river's a bit too busy. Crossing the weir in our little ferry boat's very dangerous.
We need something safer to get us across the river.
We need a bridge.
Thursday, the 9th of August, 1796, the longest single-span iron bridge in the world was opened, spanning the craggy banks of the weir.
What's all the fuss about? Haven't folks seen a bridge before?
No, they've never seen anything like this, Sam. It's the wonder of its age. It's a bit like seeing the first spaceship land on the moon. The bridge brought everyone together into one town, and the Wearmouth Bridge that replaced it in 1929 still does the same job. So the Sunderland we know today was taking shape. But who ran it? Well, there were the improvement commissioners who met in the Exchange building, magistrates, and freemen. And then in 1836 the first mayor and corporation were elected, and they really had some problems to face.
What's wrong?
Times were grim, Sue, and disease struck in the dark, crowded alleys of the East End. 200 dead, including local hero Jack Crawford, one of the town's best-known seamen. The sea took its toll of human life too, and of the many widows and orphans left, the luckier ones found refuge in Trafalgar Square, or the orphanage on the town moor.
Well, life seems to be brightening up for some.
Aye, for mine workers who used Dr. Clanny's safety lamp. For the sick who could be tended at the infirmary, perhaps by Dr. Clanny himself.
For water users, there's a powerful new supply from Sunderland and South Shields Water Company.
Oh, worse luck.
For everyone in the now gaslit streets. Better housing for some Wearsiders, from the very rich with their servants to the not-so-rich in their cottage rows. And we workers own our own homes.
Aye, there's not many outside Sunderland can say that.
Things were on the move, thanks to the inventiveness of engineers like George Stephenson, who built the Hetton Colliery railway line.
Those carriages don't look very comfortable.
Oh, well, that's because they're coal trucks, Sue. Sunderland's prosperity was largely due to coal. Remember that little black spot way back in Tudor times? Well, it grew and grew, bringing with it miles of railway, tons of shipping, and finally a huge new South Dock, promoted by George Hudson, the MP for Sunderland. Wearsiders now produced more than a third of all Britain's ships, and as wood was replaced by iron and sail by steam, they rose to the challenge to become
the biggest shipbuilding town in the world.
Hey, I'd really like to go to sea in a ship like that.
Not yet, Sam. You're off to school. It's 1870, and soon there'll be schools for everyone.
That's going to mean a lot of new building.
Yes, and it's not only schools they're building in Sunderland. There's parks and theatres, a museum and library, the new town hall and the fire station, offices, shops, and tramways.
It was all happening then.
So it was, but all good things come to an end. The money ran out, and the building stopped on the new South Pier. Aye, and never started again. The war to end all wars finally ended, and those Wearsiders that were left picked up the pieces and celebrated.
Here, look who's next to Britannia.
Good old Wallace the Lion.
And our lion-hearted lads won the FA Cup in 1937.
And again in 1973.
Hurrah the lads!
But times were still harsh, and worse was to come. Once again, Wearsiders had survived death and destruction, and once again they put their lives back together.
Aye, we're all definitely
Going places.
Here, it's all gone dead quiet.
That's because the industries that made Sunderland have gone. All those coal-based industries, remember?
Aye, the lime kilns, the potteries, the rope works, even the coal drops themselves. All gone.
Shipbuilding battled on right up to 1990 when the last ship left the weir. I bet the brewery's still here.
And the lemonade factory.
And the glass works. And there seems to be some new developments every day.
And we're all part of it.
That means you too.
Aye, now you've shared the Sunderland story with us.
You're all Wearsiders too.
Cheers!